Welcome, everyone. As you're working through your Network Plus guide, we're about to jump into one of the most important topics for your entire career, risk management. And let's be super clear from the get-go, this isn't just some techie, behind-the-scenes IT thing. Nope. This is a core business strategy that every single person, especially in leadership, needs to understand. So let's dive in.
So, let me start by asking you a question. What do you think is the biggest threat to a company's network? Is it that sophisticated hacker in a dark room, furiously typing away at a keyboard? Or is it maybe your coworker, just trying to get their job done? Well, while Hollywood absolutely loves that hacker story, the surprising truth is that more than half of all security breaches are actually caused by simple human error. And that right there is why understanding this stuff is so incredibly important.
And this really gets us to a big shift in thinking. Network security is not just an IT problem that you solve by buying a bigger, better firewall. You have to see it as a fundamental business strategy, one that is absolutely essential for protecting everything, your data, your company's reputation, and your bottom line. To put this into perspective, just imagine this for a second. Your company spends millions of dollars building a brand new, state-of-the-art headquarters, but then decides to save a little cash by not putting any locks on the doors. I mean, that's unthinkable, right? An unsecured network is the exact digital version of that. It's a massive, completely unnecessary liability that leaves all of your most valuable assets just sitting out there, totally exposed. So, before we can even start to think about building our defenses, we first have to get a handle on what we're actually defending against. Let's take a quick look at the modern landscape of digital threats.
Generally, you can boil the threats down into three main buckets. You've got weaknesses in the technology itself, you've got malicious software or malware, and then you have people. And just like we hinted at a minute ago, that human element, that's often the most unpredictable and, frankly, the most challenging risk you're going to have to manage.
And that brings us to a concept that you will see again and again in your careers. It's called social engineering. And you can think of it as the art of hacking the human. It's a way to completely bypass all the fancy technical defenses by just exploiting basic human nature, things like trust or fear or even curiosity, to trick people into giving away the keys to the kingdom. Come on, you've all seen an email that looks almost exactly like this, right? This is a textbook phishing attempt. It works because it creates a sense of urgency. Oh no, my account is going to be deactivated, and it pretends to be from a trusted source, all to get you to click that link without even thinking about it. It's a perfect, real-world example of social engineering in action. Okay, so now we know the kinds of threats that are out there. So what do we do about it? Well, now we have to build a professional framework to actually deal with them. Because, knowing what might go wrong is one thing, but having a proactive strategy to handle it, that's what separates the amateurs from the pros. Now, let's be really clear about something. The goal here is not perfect security. Perfect security is a myth. It's impossible to achieve, and it would be ridiculously expensive to even try. So intelligent risk management, what we're talking about, isn't about getting rid of all risk. It's about understanding your specific risks, weighing the costs and benefits, and making smart, informed decisions that actually line up with your business goals. And here's how it's done. A professional risk assessment isn't just guesswork. It's a systematic process. There's a method to the madness. You identify what could go wrong, you figure out what's actually at stake, you develop a plan for how you'll respond, and you document everything. This is a repeatable playbook you can use to analyze any organization's security situation. This slide right here really highlights a critical difference in mindset. On one hand, you have a security audit. That's kind of reactive. It asks questions like, are we compliant? Do we check all the boxes to meet the minimum standard? But then you have a penetration test. That's proactive. It asks, if we were a real attacker, how would we break in? It's about actively hunting for your own weaknesses, and that is a much, much more powerful way to approach security.
All right, we've covered the high-level strategy. So now let's talk for a minute about the actual tools and tactics you'll be using on the ground to put that strategy into action.
So, your foundational layer, your first line of defense, is something called device hardening. Before you even think about all the fancy alarm systems and security guards, you have to lock the basic doors and windows on every single device. Hardening is all about shrinking that attack surface and making your network a tougher target from the very beginning. And these are the kinds of practical, hands-on tasks that you'll literally be doing in your first IT or networking job. Simple things, right? Like changing the default username and password from admin and password on a new router, or closing off ports that nobody's using.
They sound basic, but they are absolutely critical first steps in securing any device.
But remember, just locking the doors and windows isn't enough. You also need active monitoring. So think about it in layers. An intrusion detection system, or IDS, that's like your alarm system. It sees something suspicious and it yells, "Hey, something's wrong." Then you have an intrusion prevention system, or IPS. That's more like the security guard who not only sees the problem but actively steps in to stop it. In any modern network, you really need both.
Okay, so as you get ready to actually read this chapter, we want to prime you to get you to be on the lookout for a few key concepts that really tie all these ideas together.
So keep your eyes peeled for these terms. They really represent that jump from just knowing facts from a textbook to actually thinking strategically. Understanding what a zero-day exploit is or how a red team, blue team exercise works, that's how you start to understand how security professionals actually think and operate in the real world. And we're going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. As a future business or IT leader, your job won't just be configuring firewalls. Your real job will be to shape behavior, to educate your colleagues, and to build a strong, resilient culture of security. That is the real challenge. And this chapter is your very first step toward mastering it. Enjoy the reading.